Hello everyone, I am El Vishnu Naik. My roll number is G2. I am here to give a presentation on activity diagram. Agenda of today's topics. Introduction, way to use activity diagram, contents of activity diagram notations and their uses, example for activity diagram, conclusion. Activity diagram. An activity diagram is a behavioral diagram in unified modeling language that visualize the workflow, activity, and action of a system, process, or use case. They depict how different actions are connected and how a system moves from one state to another state. By offering a clear picture of both simple and complex workflow, activity diagram makes it easier to developers and stakeholders to understand how various elements interact in a system. Activity diagrams are useful in several scenarios, especially when you need to visualize presents the flow of a process or behavior in a system. Way to use activity diagram. The basic usage of activity diagram is similar to other UML diagram. The specific usage is to model the control flow from one activity to another activity diagram. This control flow does not include messages. Activity diagram is suitable for modeling the activity flow of system. An application can have multiple systems. Activity diagram also captures this system and describes the flow from one system to another. This specific usage is not available in other diagrams. The system can be database, external queue, or any other system. We will now look into the practical applications of the activity diagram. From the above discussion, it is clear that an activity diagram is drawn from a very high level, so it gives high level view of a system. This high level view is mainly for business users or any other persons who is not a technical person. This diagram is used to model the activity which are nothing but business requirements. The diagram have more impact on business understanding rather than on implementing details. Activity diagrams can be used for modeling workflow by using activities, modeling business requirements, high level understanding of the system functionalities, investigating business requirements at a larger stage context. Activity diagrams are mainly used as a flowchart that consists of activity performed by the system. Activity diagrams are not exactly flowcharts as they have some additional capability. This additional capability includes branching, parallel flow, signaling, etc. Before drawing an activity diagram, we must have a clear understanding about the elements used in activity diagrams. The main element of an activity diagram is the activity itself. An activity is a function performed by the system. After identifying the activity, we need to understand how they are associated with the constraints and conditions. Before drawing an activity diagram, we should identify the following elements: activities, association, condition, and constraints. Once the above mentioned parameters are identified, we need to make a mental layout of the entire flow. The mental layout is then transformed into a activity diagram. Activity diagram notations: guard, fork, join, merge, time event, control flow, initial state, final state, decision node, signaling, activity state. Uses of activity diagram and their notations. Active guard notation is a conditional expression used in activity diagram to control flow the transition between activities. Fork splitting a single flow into multiple parallel paths, enabling concurrent execution of activities and processes simultaneously. Join merge multiple parallel paths into a single flow, synchronizing concurrent activities and processes into a unified queue. Join merge multiple parallel paths into a single flow, concurrent activities and process into a unified sequence. Merge combines multiple incoming flow into a single path, consolidating parallel activities without synchronization or loss of controls. Time events triggers an activity or transitions after a specified time interval, deadline or schedules. Example after 5 minutes. Control flow directs the order of activity execution, defining the sequence and logic of process steps and transition flow. Decision node Representation represents a conditional logic point directing flow based on yes, no, true, false, or multiple choice evaluation outcomes. Activity state represents a specific steps or task within a activity, defining a distinct phase of execution or processing. Activity diagram for student information system. Instead set login, user name, password. A password is invalid, it returns back. This is one of the example for activity diagram. Conclusion. In conclusion, activity diagram are powerful UML modeling tool for visualizing complex business process and system interaction. They enhance understanding, communication, and collaboration among stakeholders. Key elements include activity transition, decision node, condition fork, join, merge nodes, and time events. Activity diagram clarifies the process logic and workflow, reduce errors and inefficiencies, improves productivity and decision making, facilitate system analysis and design, enhance business process re-engineering. By utilizing activity diagram, developers, analysts, and stakeholders can create robust, efficient, and scalable system. Their graphical representation makes complex process accessible, ensuring efficient communication and successful project outcomes. Thank you.